WSJ investigation discovers that Jeffrey Epstein continued abusing women with the help of his VIP circle even after his conviction in 2008.
A Jewish American family's struggle with their views on Israel is examined.
Despite high home prices, housing is expected to dampen inflation in 2024. The Israel-Hamas conflict sparks tensions over speech and diversity on college campuses. Jeff Rowe, a strategist for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, steps down from his position amid campaign turmoil.
The Israeli military reveals a tunnel allegedly built by Hamas for a large-scale attack near the Israel-Gaza border. Questions are raised about Israeli soldiers' war strategy following hostage deaths.
The Magnificent Seven stocks, including Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon, outperform the rest of the companies in the S&P 500.
A Wall Street Journal poll indicates that Americans feel former President Trump's policies were more positive than President Biden's. A group of New York Times staffers forms a journalistic independence caucus to address disagreements with the News Guild.
Matthew Perry's death brings attention to the use of ketamine for mental health treatment.
Good news for Apple. Apple has agreed to pay out $25 million to settle a class action lawsuit over its family sharing feature. This settlement indicates that Apple is taking responsibility for any issues related to the feature and is willing to compensate affected users, which shows a commitment to resolving legal disputes. Good news for Instagram. Instagram has launched a new feature called Add Yours Templates, which allows users to create customized stories with GIFs, images, and text. This feature provides users with more creative options and can enhance engagement with followers, indicating that Instagram is focused on improving user experience and adding value to its platform.
Neutral news on startups. The Equity Podcast discusses various topics related to the business of startups. This news roundup is informative but does not provide a clear assessment of whether it is good or bad for startups in general. Good news for Jagat. Jagat, a location-based social network, has surpassed 10 million users globally. This milestone indicates that the platform is gaining popularity and attracting a significant user base, suggesting that Jagat's concept of promoting real-life connections resonates with users.
Neutral news on Elon Musk's Twitter. An article discusses Elon Musk's Twitter behavior and his previous bid to buy Twitter. While it provides insights into Musk's actions on the platform, it doesn't reveal any specific good or bad news related to his Twitter activity. Aerobotics Q&A with UC Berkeley's Ken Goldberg. Good news for robotics enthusiasts, as TechCrunch's Actuator newsletter will feature Q&As with top minds in robotics.
Grimes enters the toy business with Grok. Good news for Grimes fans, as she voices a character for Curio's new line of AI plushies.
CIOs cautious about generative AI in the enterprise. Neither good nor bad news, but CIOs are being cautious about adopting generative AI in the enterprise.
News publisher files class action antitrust suit against Google. Bad news for Google and Alphabet, as they face a class action lawsuit accusing them of anti-competitive behavior. Cruise layoffs, exosuits, and French startup activity. Neutral news, where the Equity Podcast recaps the week's news in the startup sector. Biden has a good news. He is taking steps to stand up to big pharma, lower prescription drug prices, and limit the power of drug makers.
Vertex CRISPR's Casgevy has received a positive opinion from a committee of the European Medicines Agency, EMA. This is good news for the companies as it paves the way for potential approval for the use of Casgevy in treating sickle cell disease and transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia.
Pfizer has a good news because they have signed a potential $1 billion deal with Nana Biosciences for antibody-drug conjugates, despite experiencing falling revenues from COVID-19. Additionally, they have successfully completed the acquisition of Seagen for $43 billion. GSK's multiple myeloma drug Blenrep has received a negative outcome from the European Medicine Agency, EMA, committee. The committee has voted against renewing the conditional marketing authorization for the drug.
Kyowa Kirin has a good news because they are giving their employees a voice in the company's future. This is important because as the company expands its North America operations and adds new employees, it is crucial to involve them in decision-making and foster a culture that supports growth and development. The human resources team at Kyowa Kirin is taking steps to ensure that employee input is central to managing the rapid growth and creating a positive work environment.
FDA puts clinical hold on 3 CarsGen Therapeutics CART candidates. The FDA has placed a clinical hold on 3 CART cell therapy candidates developed by Chinese biotech company CarsGen Therapeutics. The decision came after the FDA conducted an inspection of CarsGen's manufacturing facility in Durham, North Carolina. A clinical hold is typically imposed when there are concerns about the safety or manufacturing processes of a particular therapy or drug.
Bluebird Bio has announced a positive development regarding its sickle cell disease gene therapy, Lyfgenia. Despite concerns about the pricing of the therapy, the biotech company has successfully secured a deal with a large commercial payer in the United States. This payer represents around 100 million individuals who are covered by health insurance.
Sanofi and AstraZeneca have announced good news regarding the availability of their respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, infant immunization named Beyfortus. At the request of the Biden administration, they have promised to provide 230,000 extra doses of the vaccine in January 2024.
Merck's HEF2I inhibitor, called Willereg, has received approval from the FDA for the treatment of advanced renal cell carcinoma. This approval comes after patients have already undergone treatment with therapies that target PD-1 or PD-L1, as well as VEFICA. Willereg inhibits the HEF2A protein, which plays a role in the growth and spread of cancer cells. The approval of Welireg offers a promising treatment option for patients with advanced renal cell carcinoma who have not responded well to previous therapies.
Biopharma layoffs have taken place in 2023, with companies such as Reneo, Ver, Zelia, and others cutting their staff. These layoffs are significant developments in the industry and indicate changes within the affected companies. Biotech and health. Valley investors are targeting cow burps as a means to reduce methane emissions. Good news. Cogita, a two-sided e-commerce wholesale marketplace for retailers, raised $86 million in a Series B round. Good news.
Machine learning is being used to speed up the detection of contamination in food factories. Good news.
Strava has appointed YouTube exec Michael Martin as its new CEO after a year-long search. Good news.
Clothing influencer shopping app, LTK, adds creator product reviews in its latest update. This is good news as it adds more transparency to online shopping and helps users make more informed purchasing decisions.
Lyft follows Uber's lead and removes its mask mandate. This is bad news as it may increase the risk of COVID-19 transmission for both riders and drivers. It goes against the ongoing efforts to control the pandemic.
Amazon expands its custom-fit clothing service, Made for You, with athletic tees. This is good news as it provides more options for customers to have clothing tailored to their exact body measurements, improving the fit and overall satisfaction with online purchases.
Walmart launches AI-powered virtual clothing try-on technology for online shoppers. This is good news as it enhances the online shopping experience by allowing customers to virtually try on clothing before making a purchase, reducing the need for returns.
Pair Eyewear focuses on adult glasses as it takes in $60 million. This is good news as it indicates growth and success in the direct-to-consumer eyewear market.
Commerce one-click checkout company, Bolt, confirms another round of layoffs. This is bad news for Bolt as it confirms another round of layoffs. This suggests that the company is facing challenges and possibly struggling financially. Temu's latest lawsuit against Shein is wild. This is bad news for Shein, as Temu's lawsuit makes their business practices look questionable and potentially unethical.
Cogita raises $86 million Series B to compete with Anchor Store in Europe. This is good news for Cogita, as they have successfully raised a significant amount of funding to fuel their expansion and compete with Anchor Store in the European market.
Udon scores $340 million in new funding. This is good news for Udon, as they have secured a substantial amount of funding, indicating investor confidence in their business model and potential growth.
Jumia discontinues food delivery across 7 markets. This is bad news for Jumia, as they are discontinuing their food delivery service, suggesting that it was not profitable or aligned with their current operations.
Crypto Robinhood is exploring further into the cryptocurrency space, showing a positive development for the company as it seeks to understand customer preferences and needs. Web3 founders are optimistic about the opportunities for crypto startups in 2024, indicating positive prospects for the industry.
Hackers continue to cause disruptions in the crypto space, particularly targeting the Ledger crypto wallet and compromising multiple Web3 applications and services. This news reflects a negative aspect as it highlights security concerns. Lolly, a Bitcoin and cashback rewards application, has successfully raised $8 million in a Series B funding round, suggesting positive growth and expansion for the company.
Line Next, a Web3 unit of the messaging app Line, has secured $140 million in funding, indicating positive investor interest and potential for the Web3 platform. The Numbers has a good news. The article discusses that reports of falling lifespans are not an accurate reflection of what will likely happen in the coming decades.
The Outlook has a good news. Despite record home prices, economists believe that housing could deliver significant relief on inflation in 2024.
Fed official says central bank isn't really talking about rate cuts, has a bad news. A Federal Reserve official stated that the central bank is not considering rate cuts, indicating that there may not be any further decreases in interest rates. Eurozone economic activity weakens for 7th straight month, PMI's show, has a bad news. Economic activity in the Eurozone contracted for the 7th consecutive month in December, indicating a weakening demand and a gloomy economic outlook.
China's economy shows signs of losing further momentum, has a bad news. Investment and consumer spending in China expanded slower than expected last month, leading to calls for policymakers to take action to support growth.
WSJ's CEO Council Summit features Jake Sullivan, Janet Yellen, Senator Joe Manchin, Hakeem Jeffries, does not have a specific good or bad news. It discusses political and business leaders weighing in on various topics such as inflation, the economy, geopolitical tensions, and the battle for the White House.
Good news.
One Fashion Off Script launches an app to create and buy AI-designed fashion. The company has launched an innovative app that allows users to create and purchase AI-designed fashion, offering unique and customizable products.
2. Coach's knitwear supplier bets $1 million on Jelly Bean's fashion prediction tech. The fashion industry is embracing AI technology for more predictable and successful fashion design, as demonstrated by Coach's supplier's investment in Jelly Bean's fashion prediction tech.
3. Peer-to-peer fashion rental marketplace. Pickle picks up $8 million. Pickle, a peer-to-peer fashion rental platform, has secured $8 million in seed funding, indicating strong industry interest and potential for growth.
4. ShopZedu raises pre-seed funding to fuel growth of its fashion marketplace beyond Kenya. Kenyan fashion e-commerce startup ShopZedu has raised pre-seed funding to expand its marketplace, catering to the growing needs of young and style-conscious women in Africa.
Magnificent Seven's market has good news. Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, and Meta have collectively jumped 75% in 2023, outperforming the other stocks in the S&P 500.
Why it's taking so long for Americans to get payments instantly has bad news. Despite hundreds of banks using the Fed's new instant payment service, universal availability could still be years away.
Robinhood woos wealthier clients from bigger brokerages has good news. The trading app has received $1.1 billion in account transfers since offering a 1% match, attracting wealthier clients.
The Score, Macy's, Hasbro, Pfizer, and more stocks that define the week has no specific news. It just discusses major companies and their stock movements.
Beware the most crowded trade on Wall Street. Next year's soft landing warns about a consensus that could prove wrong, as it has in the past 3 years.
Visa agrees to acquire majority interest in payments processor. Prosa has good news. Visa plans to acquire a majority interest in Prosa, a payments processor in Mexico.
Fintech's wild ride in 2023. This article discusses the latest news in the fintech industry. No specific company news mentioned.
The rule of X and how cloud leaders should think about growth versus profit. The article discusses the flawed approach of assigning equal weight to growth and profitability for latest stage businesses. No specific company news mentioned.
Opendoor co-founder Eric Wu is stepping down to return to his startup roots. Opendoor co-founder Eric Wu is leaving the real estate tech company to focus on his startup roots. This is bad news for Opendoor as they are losing one of their co-founders.
One-click checkout company Bolt confirms another round of layoffs. Bolt, the one-click checkout company, has confirmed another round of layoffs. This is bad news for Bolt as it indicates potential financial challenges or restructuring. Credit Karma co-founder Nicole Mustard stepping down after more than 16 years. Credit Karma co-founder and chief revenue officer Nicole Mustard is leaving the company after 16 and a half years. This is bad news for Credit Karma as they are losing a key executive.
Ole, pronounced Ole, is a Y Combinator-backed, on-demand fashion app that delivers luxury fashion items in 50 minutes. The company recently closed a $1.5 million funding round, which is good news for Ole as it indicates financial support and potential for growth. Psyche is a Web3 platform backed by 776 that combines luxury fashion with blockchain technology. It serves as an incubator, marketplace, and social community for the next generation of fashion designers and consumers. This can be seen as good news as it provides a new and innovative approach to the luxury fashion industry.
Farfetch, a luxury fashion marketplace, had a successful first day of trading on NYSE, with its stock price closing at $28.45, up 42%. This is good news for Farfetch as it indicates a strong market demand and investor confidence in the company. Zalando, a luxury goods and fashion portal backed by Samware Rocket Internet, launched Emeza, a platform with luxury fashion items priced up to $1,000. This news showcases the expansion and diversity of Zalando, which can be seen as a positive development for the company.
Overall, the mentioned companies in the luxury fashion industry have mostly received good news, such as successful funding rounds, innovative approaches, and positive market performance. This indicates their growth potential and positive reception in the industry.
Startups' IT budgets should increase in 2024, but it still could be tough going for startups. This is bad news for startups as it suggests that although their IT budgets may increase in 2024, the overall business environment may still be challenging for them.
Fintech's wild ride in 2023, no specific company mentioned. Democracies are fragile and hardware is hard. No specific company mentioned.
DealDive, training the workforce for the clean energy transition. This is good news for the company Montamo, as they are highlighted for their efforts in hiring and training people for the clean energy transition.
Startups and physicians must unite to empower women's health. This is a call for collaboration between startups and physicians to improve women's health, so it is neither good nor bad news for a specific company.
Venture FinTech's wild ride in 2023. This article is about venture FinTech, but it does not specify whether the news is good or bad for the company.
Democracies are fragile and hardware is hard. This article does not mention any specific company.
DealDive, training the workforce for the clean energy transition. This article is about Montamo, a company that hires and trains people for the clean energy transition. This is good news for Montamo, as it highlights their focus on helping migrants build new careers.
A comprehensive list of 2023 tech layoffs. This article discusses the tech industry, which has seen a significant number of job losses. This is bad news for the industry.
The best funding options for latest stage startups. This article does not mention any specific company.